Every RVer's heard the stories. You know, the paperwork that looks fine till it isn't. Or promises made by a salesperson vanish when you need that service. Or clocks that run out while you're just trying to be reasonable. Then, oops, I'm sorry, you're too late. Well, today we're sitting down with someone who's been in the arena for more than 20 years. Beth Wells is the managing partner at the Burdge Wells Law Office, which is one of the top RV lemon law firms in the country. Beth doesn't just write demand letters, she tries cases, lots of cases. She sued manufacturers and dealers for the kind of tricks that turn your RV dream into what could become a years-long headache. So here in part one, we're tackling some of the stuff that actually bites people. Statute of limitations, why waiting just a little bit longer can kill a claim. The blame game between the dealer and the manufacturer. And what is a real PDI? What is a real PDI? What should it look like before you sign anything? If you're RV shopping or you're new to RV ownership, or maybe you're already stuck in the service loop, this conversation can save you money and maybe a little bit of your sanity. You may want to grab a notepad, and when you're ready for more help, scan the QR code you see on the screen, that one over here, or hit the free resource page, the link in the description down below. You'll find my up-to-date list of trusted dealers, buying and selling tips, RV lemon law help, and contact info for me and for Beth. Let's get into it. So I'm visiting with a friend of mine the other day, and we're talking about RVs and prices, and the subject came up about lawyers. You know, it comes up a lot. And we were wondering, and I don't think that nobody knows the answer to this, but I wonder how much of the price of a new RV is about legal fees and these manufacturers that are covering their butts with all the loopholes in their legal team. It's got to be a lot, wouldn't you think?
Uh, I mean, maybe, but they should just build them right in the first place, right?
Yeah,
That's the money doing that, right?
I agree. So I have made sort of a little punch list of some things I'd like to visit with you about, just high level. And the first thing I want to start with is people that wait too long.
Mm-hmm.
I see online that people say that they've contacted an attorney or they don't want to wait too long. What does that mean to wait too long for someone that owns a new RV?
Okay, so there's a thing called a statute of limitations, which is like a deadline by which, like, if you don't file a lawsuit on that particular claim when the statute runs, like your claim disappears. You can't file it in court anymore. Now there's some defenses to it, but you don't want to like bank on having a defense to it. An attorney might tell you that you might have a defense to it, but you should look at the date as like a solid date, because most cases you're not going to have any additional time.
And so how do I find that date? I mean,
Each state has like a different statute of limitations for a breach of warranty. Most of them are around 4 years, but it just depends on your state. But most states allow for the statute of limitations to be shortened to at least a year. Indiana does. I'm sure there's states out there that don't, but Indiana allows it to be shortened to as short as a year. And so they do that in the warranty. So you look at your warranty, and if it says that it's shortening that deadline.
So which one do we have to pay attention to? Is it the warranty, my RV's warranty, or is it the state goes, you got 3 years? Or
pay attention to your warranty. Now, if your state doesn't allow you to shorten it, then you're lucky. But that way you get to a lawyer in time.
And when you say get to a lawyer in time, does that mean they have to file an actual lawsuit against the manufacturer, or they can just write a nasty letter?
No, they have to file the lawsuit. So like if you're calling an attorney on the last day,
not good.
That's not fun.
Well, so because I know that you review many cases, spend a lot of your time reviewing cases. I bet you see that a lot, don't you? People that have just waited too long.
Yeah. In a lot of instances too, they think that they're being reasonable, and they're giving them that extra time. They're doing it out of a sense of, trying to be fair. And those people are the ones that end up missing the date, unfortunately.
So this is the customer, the buyer, who just wants to doesn't want to be too pushy, assumes the dealer's going to do the right thing, or the manufacturer's going to do the right thing, until the clock runs out, you're out of time.
Yeah, well, you'll even have, I mean, there's no way to know with certainty, but I've seen situations where owners have been in contact with the manufacturer, and then that date is coming up, and then suddenly they're not getting calls back. So it sometimes makes you wonder what the manufacturer is doing. No way to prove it, but it's very
suspicious
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know that there's a manufacturer would certainly, even if they were playing that game and saying, looking at the clock and saying, all we got to do is drag this thing out another 3 or 4 weeks. They'd never admit to doing that. But
no, I'm sure that,
so how long does it take to, if I contact the Burdge Wells Law Office and I've got a legitimate case, how long does it take you to put something together to notify the manufacturer, hey, you're being sued?
It just depends. If we've got like a rush one that has a short statute of limitations, we can get it out in a couple days. But like if we don't, it may take a little bit longer. A couple of factors that would make it longer would be if we're not getting, like we have a list of documents we need before we'll send the letter out. So if we're not getting them from the client, then that's going to delay things. Also, like if we have questions, maybe for the client that's not clear from the paperwork and we're just waiting to hear back, just things like that. Or if maybe there's an important document that we don't have and they don't have, then, someone has to track it down or we have to figure out what we're going to do about it.
I would assume there's no pat answer, but it would seem like to me the earlier that I can get on Beth Wells' agenda on your radar screen, the better my chances are of, if I do have a legitimate lemon, that we can get in under the wire in time and make a legitimate claim that we can proceed with. Otherwise, if I wait till the 10th or the 11th month thinking, well, gosh, I've got everything. There's a lot of people that probably don't have everything that you need.
Right. And but then also that's like kind of a fine line, because you have to have unless you have the multiple repair times, you have to have the 153 days. So then it's like, that's how they push you like right into this little baby window where like you got enough days here and here's your deadline. So
has it always been like 153 days? I don't know how they came up with that number, but what's happened? I mean, is the number larger now? The number of days that the RV has to be out of service? Is it the window is about the same?
It's not supposed. So it's from case law, and it's not, the case itself says it's not supposed to be a bright line rule, but it basically is treated as a bright line rule, which means by saying it's not a bright line rule, the court is saying essentially that it doesn't necessarily have to be more than 153 days. But I'm telling you, like the courts are treating it as it has to be 153 days. So it is a bright line rule.
You're speaking from experience. I mean, actual experience. Okay, so I'm an RV owner. I've got some issues. I think that many people just immediately go, I've got a lemon, when it may not be a lemon, but it's just a problem RV that's got these recurring issues, but it's not necessarily a lemon. How do I determine the difference? Decide, I've got a leaky hydraulic line and they just can't seem to fix the thing. Or how do I know that that's endemic of RVs and they're all going to have problems, so just deal with it, versus, ooh, that could be a lemon issue? How am I supposed to know that?
I would say just if you've got repeated problems that you can't get fixed, or if it's just sitting there forever in the repair shop, those would be things that would trigger it in my mind. I mean, and most people, everyone has like a different threshold to where they decide that they're not willing to take anymore, and then they contact an attorney. And that's kind of the difference between someone who's going to miss the date and someone who's not. So if you have like a higher threshold of dealing with it, like I said, then you might be in a bad spot because you were
You waited too long.
Yeah, you were being more reasonable, or you too reasonable. So.
It's, it's so hard. It's like asking somebody, how hot is hot? Well, it depends. And you don't want to, I don't think that customers want to be that jerk. They want to just be fair, treated fairly. But on the other hand, they've got to be skeptical and suspicious because there are so many horror stories out there. And then I want to ask you about the blame game, where the dealer blames the manufacturer blames the dealer. And it just seems it's hard for me, the customer, to keep up with it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, a lot of times the dealer's they have to deal with the customer face to face, right? So they're probably the ones getting the brunt of the frustration if someone wants their RV back. So I guess it's probably natural to blame the manufacturer. And it sounds like, quite frankly, like in a lot of instances, it's reasonable to blame the manufacturer. Maybe the dealer wants to repair it some certain way and the manufacturer doesn't. And the dealer doesn't think it's going to work the other way that the manufacturer is saying. Or maybe the manufacturer says do it this way and they keep doing it and it's not working. But they can't get the manufacturer to approve the way that it'll work.
But
sorry, go ahead.
No, it's always easiest to blame somebody that's not there to defend themselves. And many of these purchase agreements, they literally say that if you have a problem with your RV, it ain't us. Don't come out. And buyers sign that says you can't go after the dealer. And they literally push it all back on the manufacturer.
Mm-hmm. And then the manufacturer, that's why it's always good too, to like be in contact with the manufacturer. That way, if there is a delay because of the manufacturer, you can kind of talk to them and know if that's actually the case.
I want to bring this up is that I talk to so many people that are, many people are happy, but a lot of people aren't. And this blame game goes on. I think that many dealers don't do the proper PDI. They just don't. We've done a PDI that, what somebody say probably didn't inspect, but they don't even do anything. And then when the customer expects a proper PDI and the RV's not in good shape, then the dealer blames the manufacturer when the dealer could have fixed it and prevented all this stuff from happening. It sounds like a no-win deal to me. Am I off base, or does that make any sense?
No, I think PDIs are an issue too, especially if the RV's been there for a while. Maybe it's been there for like a year sitting on the lot, and it's probably it got a PDI maybe when it came in. It's going to need another one. I've found just in like asking some new questions and depositions, I just assumed that the dealer got paid for the PDI work. It just depends on the manufacturer. Some manufacturers pay for it, some don't. Some pay for a second one if the dealer can give a basis for it. But the ones that don't even pay for one, of course, the dealer's less likely to do a second one, right? If they're not even getting paid for the first one. So
what prevents me as a dealer? God, this just sounds so terrible. What prevents me from just lying? Just, we did a PDI. Everything was fine way back last September. And when it could be a complete lie. During discovery, are you able to figure that out? Or do you also have your doubts sometimes as what paperwork might be presented?
I mean, a lot of times all you have is like a chart with checks. So and sometimes the checks are like computerized checks. So like you don't did someone click a box that clicked all the boxes and then had you sign it? I mean, because people will, like, for example, I think Forest Rivers, they have like a sheet that has like all the information relating to the warranty registration. They've got like the inspection box with all the check marks, and then a signature line. And just in speaking to owners, they vaguely remember signing that a lot of times, but they didn't talk about like the chart with the checks or anything like that.
And that's pretty much one of the most important parts of signing off on, right? I mean, and so A dealer, a questionable dealer, might just act like it's nothing. Just pass another piece of paper along and, check here, everything's fine. And the case may go back to that. And the manufacturer says, no, you said it was okay way back when.
Mm-hmm.
I think if it was presented differently, if the buyer knew how important it was to make sure everything is working, as they're paying $100,000, $200,000 for these RVs.
Now,
So,
some of the dealers will do like a separate work order too, and I find those to be more reliable if they generated like a separate work order and they checked off the charts, because then they went to the time and expense of like writing up a separate work order. So I find that's more likely if that happened, if they have that procedure in place, that they actually.
All right, that concludes part 1. I say if some of that stung a little, good. Better now than 5 figures or more later. In part 2, Beth and I will go deeper into the stuff that folks seem to always be asking about, like buybacks, and what they really mean, how usage deductions work, and why NDAs keep popping up, plus how to keep your leverage. We'll also talk about when it's not a capital L lemon, what is Magnuson Moss, and what state consumer laws can still do for you, and when mediation or small claims court makes sense, and a whole lot more. Now, as this series continues, I'll be putting every video in one place here on my YouTube channel. Just look for the Burdge Wells Law Office playlist. And finally, if you think that you may have a lemon RV or you know someone who does, you can get a free evaluation from Beth and her team. You can. They'll give you an actual evaluation. Just scan the QR code you see over here. And if you can't scan, find the link in the description down below. It will take you to my resources page where you can connect and get that free connection to get that free evaluation. Finally, thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. Hope you'll drop a comment down below. I read them, every single one of them, and I appreciate them. Be safe, have fun, play nice, and don't leave your good manners at home.